Have you ever tried a craft and wish you can turn it into a profit to make money from it? I think we've all had that idea where we wanted to make something and actually make money from it, but we were told different things like, oh, you can't do that, or oh, that's a nice hobby, or yeah, try that, it might work. Things like that could discourage somebody, right? But don't let it. Your ideas is the first step to turning your passion into profit. And we're going to talk about that in this episode. Let's get started. Welcome to Queen's Rise to CEO, the podcast for women coaches and crafters on the journey to success. I'm your host, Talina Bacon, your go-to business strategy coach, self-published author of Breaking Into the Craft Show Circuit, a guide to avoiding the bumps and bruises, and owner of an online home decorative business. Picture this podcast as your cozy corner where I spill the tea on all things online business, from kickstarting your coaching or crafting journey to mastering organic marketing, client attraction, social media strategies, and so much more. Plus, I'll be talking about some of my coaching programs designed to help you create a strategy as unique as your business. With over 3 decades of experience, you can bet I've got some juicy stories to tell and insider secrets to share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or give me a follow, because when it comes to chatting about business, they say I've got the gift of gab, especially after a cup of coffee. So grab your favorite beverage, a pen, and some paper, and get ready to unleash your inner CEO. Let's do this. My creative crafters. I've been waiting to do this episode for a while. I wanted to do this episode to talk about turning that passion into profit. And sometimes we get into that feeling of despair or discouragement from others telling us we can't do it. But let me tell you, it can be done. When I first started my craft business, I started making crocheted hats and scarves. To this day, I couldn't understand knit 1, purl 2, crochet. I don't even know the steps even to making a simple baby booty. But back then, those were the things that I sold, and I sold them pretty well. I did pretty good. It wasn't a big market for it, but that's how I first started, because everyone kept saying, oh, those are so cute, you should try selling them. I decided to try to sell them at a craft show. Of course, sometimes I would only make $5, and that would discourage me because I put so much effort into crocheting. And for those who crochet, you know how much time that takes to actually get it done. So obviously, I'm not making no money from this. But I have to figure out something because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy creating things. So I kept on trying and trying. And eventually it transitioned into sewing. I met this young lady at a craft fair, and she was doing dolls, hand-sewn dolls, and they were so nice. Shout out to Cindy if she ever listens to this, because Cindy, she definitely showed me the ropes on how to get started as far as sewing. And my first sewing machine was a single sewing machine for $99. I remember I was like so excited. And I made my first, what I called Chubby Bunny. And that was the beginning of this long journey that I am now on. Of course, I don't do dolls anymore. I don't do as many as I used to. But it was the beginning process of something very exciting and rewarding. So you see, when you're starting a business, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes failures, it takes all of that to turn it into a passion that you can actually go into a profit and get business from it. But you got to also remember, it takes a lot of work. And sometimes we may not want to do it, but we have to do it in order to make the money. So first thing, if you're going to turn your passion into a profit, get that mindset of, listen, there's going to be times where I'm not going to make any money. There's going to be times where I'm not going to want to do this no more, but I still have to do it because I want to be successful. I want to work for myself. I don't want to do 9-to-5 jobs anymore. Now, Some of us do 9 to 5. Actually, I do 9 to 5 jobs because sometimes craft shows don't bring in the money that I want it to. And it's the truth. And a lot of people say, hey, I left my job and decided to do craft shows for a living. Let me tell you, if someone has left their business to do a craft show for a living, it is hard because you got to remember, at any craft show, you're not going to make the money that you want to make, and you still got the regular bills that you got to pay. Of course, you have to do a 9 to 5, but what if you can do a 9 to 5 and you gradually move it into a gift shop or something like that? Of course, it takes time. So you can leave the 9 to 5 job. At one point I did. I opened up a gift shop. I had 2 of them, matter of fact. And then, of course, life happens, family happens, marriage, divorce, the whole 9 yards and all that. And hey, you're back into a 9 to 5 job. But with this podcast, I'm going to share every step it takes to get you where you need to be in your business. If you're just starting, I'm going to go through the beginning stages. If you're deep into it, I'm going to go into the marketing stages, because no matter what stage of your craft business, we all can learn from each other in every way possible. That's why I created this podcast, because I wanted to share my 30 plus years of experience and to show you that it's possible. I ended up being a crafter. I ended up being a self-published author, talking about craft shows. And then I started coaching women to market their business, to get it out there so they can get more sales for their business. So this podcast is going to have a little bit of everything. Just remember, it's always a process no matter what type of business that you're starting. You can do jewelry making, you can do clothing. There's different things you can possibly do, but the first step is to get started. So I'm going to take you on this journey and just get you started on what needs to be done and how to do it in a way that feels good to you, because you don't want to be overworked and wondering, okay, what am I doing here? What am I doing there? And sometimes you can get information and it's not actually a step-by-step strategy. And whatever business you're doing, it requires clear goals, the target market, and a step-by-step strategy to get you where you need to be. And I am going to give you 3 tips to get you started right after this message. Hey there, ladies. Are you ready to turn your craft into a thriving business? Join the Crafty Business Women Society today. If you're a creative woman who's ready to build a profitable, freedom-filled business, this is the place for you. Inside my Facebook group, the Crafty Business Women Society, we're sharing actionable tips for growing your craft business, a supportive community for like-minded crafters like yourself, exclusive resources to help you market and sell your products, and a live Q&A and coaching from me to answer all your business questions. Whether you're just starting or looking to level up the craft business, the Crafty Business Society is your go-to place for turning your passion into profit. Join us today within the link within the show notes, and let's get started on your crafty dreams to success. Now back to the show. Welcome back. The 3 tips to get you started in your craft business is 1, determine what you want to create. You don't have to create an overabundance of products, but create something that you enjoy doing repeatedly. Once you figure out that product, decide how much it's going to cost to make that product, because making that product is going to determine how you're going to price it and how you're going to be able to get money coming in. If you create something that's going to cost you $12 to make and you charge $12, you're not making any money. So figure out how much it costs to make that particular product and see if it can be doubled. So let's say, for example, your supplies cost maybe $15 and you want to make a, let's say, 30-inch snowman that requires a little bit of detail but not a lot. Now, with a 30-inch snowman, you can charge $35 to $40. Once you've charged that price, you got to take out the amount for your supplies. So let's say $15. So it leaves you $15 profit. See? Now, so make sure that you have the right product where you get enough supplies where even after you've had the price of your supplies, you'll still be able to double your pricing of that particular product. That way you get some type of income coming in. So that's step number 2. Step number 3. If you're going to step into your craft business fully, determine what you want your craft name to be. What do you want that's going to stand out? I've had a few different craft names. I've had Crochet Unlimited, because I was doing a lot of crocheted items. I had So Cute Dolls and More, because a couple of ladies kept saying my dolls were so cute, so I used that. I've had the Decorative Loft. I've had the Primitive Hutch. Now that was a pretty good name, but the only problem with that is that as time went on, everyone thought I was selling primitive furniture. That threw everybody off, them not knowing that I do primitive crafts, not furniture. Remember, pick a name that's going to suit your business. It doesn't have to be broad, but it has to also to relate to what you're doing. If you're doing jewelry, put in a word that has the word jewelry in it somewhere within it so they know that you do jewelry. If you're doing dolls, for example, I did dolls. Primitive and vintage dolls. If you do home decorative, distinguish that. Lighted home decorative, lighted items, lighted crafts. Play around with the name a little bit, but you want your business to stand out. Because in the long run, let's say you decide you want to open a gift shop. You want that name to stand out so that they remember it. Take those 3 steps. Remember, decide on the product. Decide on how much inventory costs to make that product. Decide if you can double the price as far as with the supplies. Think about that while you're figuring out what type of product. And the third one is decide on your business name. That's it for this episode. We're going to dive deeper into more steps into getting that craft business started. Now, those are for those that are starting a business. Now, as time goes on, I'm going to be talking about those who've already in business. So I'm going to share a little bit of everything so you get the whole enchilada of everything for your business so you can turn that passion into profit. Hey there, my creative crafters. Thanks for tuning in to my podcast. Before you go, be sure to hit the subscribe button on your podcast app. I'm dishing out loads of valuable tips, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Your thoughts mean the world to me, and having you as a part of my podcast family is truly special. Before you go, here's a little nugget of wisdom I want to share with you. Love what you do, and the money will flow. So get out there, pour your passion into your craft, and watch the abundance flow. Until next time, take care and we'll chat again soon.